Okay, we're all good.
It is what it is. I know that you know how to really nothing.
Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? How is everybody doing tonight? That's right. Where's the best place in all of San Diego? All right. So if you're not here, you swear. Welcome to another town council meeting. I'm your president, Shane O'Hara. To my right of me is our vice president, Pam Stevens. To the left of me is Jeff Stevens, our secretary. To the back is our second vice president and membership committee. Is anybody else here from the team? All right, I guess that's all of us today. Let me see, what's the next thing? The first thing that we got approval of all the members that are all the members, Mira Mesa Town Council members. We got to approve last month's meetings, meeting minutes. All in favor say aye. All in favor say aye. Aye. All against it say nay. All right, let's approve. Awesome. Do we have any first responders here tonight? Say they go please the flag? No? Okay, awesome. What's happening? Yeah, so I'm gonna call up City Council candidate Mark Powell to come up and give a couple of minutes and talk about his candidacy. So we're gonna round of applause.
Thank you, everybody, for allowing me to have a few minutes to introduce myself. My name is Mark Powell. I'm a lifelong San Diego, born and raised right here. My sister is a Mira Mesa resident. My nephew went to school in Mira Mesa. I'm a former police officer with the San Diego Police Department. I transitioned out of that and I became a school teacher. I taught 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, and then I became a vice principal. But teachers, as you know, we don't make a lot of money. So I started dabbling in real estate. I needed a side, it's called a side hustle. I needed a side hustle. But the real estate didn't become couples, we're gonna do it smart, we're gonna do it effectively. Also, this is shocking, pedestrian safety here. I was surprised when I found out that Mira Mesa home on Black Mountain Road, it's on the city's Dale 15 of the most dangerous streets. And there's in one of the areas, there's a senior mobile home park. They can't even cross the street. That's at Westview Parkway. So this is not a hard thing to solve. All you have to do is put one of those lights to say, no turn on red when the light turns green, so it gives pedestrians some time to go. And it only activates when you push the button, so if nobody's there, the light doesn't come on. It's a real simple fix. These are things that the city council needs to take care of to make our community safe. I had to have a piece of paper because there's so many things. I was limited to only 5. There's more than 5. We have the teen center over here. So as a former school teacher, my role, like the vice principal, I didn't leave the school until every kid was home. Every kid has to be safe. But this teen center over here, the ordinance, okay, then, there's homeless people all over, and they're not being housed. It's okay to be homeless. It's not a crime. But it's not okay to expose yourself in front of kids. It's not okay to urinate in front of kids. We need to get our law enforcement to clean up that area, and we need to properly pay that center, because there's money out there, and I don't want to go into too much detail, but like I told this, we're going to make sure that is taken care of. 2 more things. This is a big deal. My sister lives on the edge of the canyon here in Mira Mesa, River Red Drive, if you know where that is. The city has failed us in their brush management. They've allowed dead oak trees just to fall in the canyon and have to clean it up. It's just the kindling for the next catastrophic fire. But there are ways, again, with technology, to set up cameras that do infrared sensing so they'll detect where the virus could be. Drones to fly over to find out what areas need the most maintenance. These are things that we need to do. We do not want to end up like Palisades. We have to be proactive. The last thing I want to talk about is auxiliary dwelling units, ADUs. You know what those are? Raise your hand if you own a house here in Mira Mesa. All right. Jeez, a lot of you. Raise your hand if you're thinking about selling. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, you never know. You bought a single family home. That's a home that sits on the lot by itself. You don't want your neighbor to put in an apartment complex next door, especially an apartment complex with no parking. So my position, and I'm in the business, it should be limited to 1, maybe 2, maybe 1 for the grandparents, and maybe 1 for your children, because it's too expensive to purchase a home in San Diego. When I was a school teacher, I purchased a home on a teacher's salary. All the money from my parents, I bought a house. If I were a teacher today, and I looked at the house a couple weeks ago, and had to buy that same house as a school teacher, I had to make $230,000 a year. This is insane. So we have to, and there's ways to bring these costs down through the we all have the same interest. Let's save Mira Mesa. Thank you very much.
So, you all, that's Mark Howell, we went to, City Council District 6, the primary coming up, and, there you go. Let's see, who else is on here? Before we get to the main program, is there any, have we set up updates?
Hello, good to see everybody, and I've seen a lot of you before, so it's good to see you again. Just a super brief update, and then at next month's meeting, I believe Brandon, my partner in crime, is also going to be here, usually the programmatic operations side. We're going to give a more full update, and he'll have lots of information about the programmatic plan.
I'm sure that you're recipient of the parts also, right? And I knew there was going to be somebody, but I didn't know the name. And you are,
Right.
right, are Adam?
Yes, and I will leave some cards as well, basically, when the contact you. So yes, I'm with the County of San Diego Department of Parks and Recreation. Important distinction because there's also the City Department of Parks and Recreation is doing a project right next door for the Aquatic Center. The epicenter is specifically the Teen Center, right beside it. So just wanted to talk a little bit about construction progress. It's a really easy update to give because if you drive on Mira Mesa Boulevard, you see it. It looks like a building again, which is great. We just put our new skylights in, which is very exciting. It's looking really great and bright inside the building, and we're looking forward to getting folks in there later this year. So I'm happy to answer any specific questions. Otherwise, I'll be here again next month with Brandon to give updates on the program and things like that. Still ironing out the exact details. It will be in the fall. We're kind of having the discussion of if it's better to open before school or after school starts, to determine, how is best to get the kids in there. So it'll be sometime around that time, but still working out programmatically.
I would ask the Mira Mesa High School principal what he thinks might get better. This is like
Stay till I get to the meeting.
And the school year starts so early now that it's hard to open before the start of school if you're thinking fall, because school starts in August what?
Yeah, third week.
Third week of August. So, which is one reason that our September Mira Mesa Council meeting will be our back to schools night again, like last year. We used to always do that in October, and we moved it up a month, and I believe all the principals are interested in having that go forward. We seem to go very well having that. Ryan, what's your last name?
Sorry, I know it's a mouthful.
E-W-I-T?
Yeah, here, I'll just.
Okay. Yeah, I've been noticing the other center under construction, reconstruction, and looking forward to it. I remember when it was first changed from the old Mira Mesa library, so lots of history.
You're talking about the epicenter?
Just curious, why is that called under county jurisdiction?
It's a very interesting question. So basically, it's within the city of San Diego. The county has agreed to operate this building with a lease of 45 years. Primarily so that we have a base of operations in Mira Mesa. We also have Los Penasquitos Ranch House, which is another county-operated facility. But it allows us to operate our SD Nights program, which is a very popular teens program, somewhere that's more central in San Diego. So that will be their main headquarters, will be outside. Good question, though.
Thank you.
We'll more about that today.
Next up, we got Congresswoman Sara coming in to talk about her work in Congress and the Q&A. I don't know why I have time to do it.
Okay, so whatever you want from me. Hi everyone, it's nice to be here with you all. I just want to give a brief update on what's happening in Washington right now. So, the big news of the day, obviously, is the war in Iran. I'm on both the Armed Services and the Foreign Affairs Committee, so I've been now basically every briefing Congress has got on this, and I'm telling you that I have yet to hear a real strategy or plan for endgame from the administration officials that have briefed us. So on going back next week, we're going to continue doing oversight of this. They sent a $200 billion supplemental funding request to Congress and a $1.5 trillion defense budget request to Congress, which I am voting against because I would rather spend money on lots of other things like childcare and housing that's affordable, all of what I think to be our duty. So that's what's happening there. Obviously, immigration is top of mind for folks here in San Diego. Last week I visited the Mira Mesa Detention Center. We were able to get in, we were able to do some good oversight and get some of our questions answered, but they still owe us some answers, and obviously still a lot of work to be done. As we know, we're in a partial government shutdown right now. Receiving a appropriated funding. The Senate has a compromise, I think, negotiated that would fund all of DHS except ICE and CBP. House will install that. We understand that we're going back next week. There is a chance to have public and try for a vote. So hopefully we'll get this result soon and also get some real guardrails on ICE, border patrol and others that will are acting restraints and really very communities. And all of this is happening against the rising cost of living for families here in San Diego. So I'm working on some big ideas around how we can address the cost of housing, how we can address the cost of childcare. But if any of you have ideas, please send them in. We're looking for ideas. And I will refer to you if you have time for Q&A or not. But I am here to have to answer questions, and Amani is here on my behalf.
Three questions.
Sure, yeah.
I wanted to ask what you think about the idea of the young adults being able to put ADUs on regular neighborhood lots and stuff. Because as I understand it, a lot of young adults have a lot of trouble affording a home. They have $400,000. I can buy a house on Amazon for $10,000. It's very expensive, but HOAs and building regulations, most young adults, I think, can't really afford that. But if the requirements were eased or set aside, and don't afford operating.
Yeah. So I'm one of the youngest members of Congress, so even though I'm actually not that young anymore, I'm 37, I still represent young people to a lot of my colleagues. And I grew up here in San Diego, and almost none of my friends kind of just grew up here because they can't afford it. So it's a really real issue, and we're already starting to hear companies saying they're not going to come to San Diego because they're worried that the workforce will build my housing. So it's going to impact our whole economy if we don't get access.
representatives that come to our meeting to help us with about $30 to $40 million to finish Carroll Desert Road, which is very critical to our community because we do not have the money to build it out of our community. So we're really looking forward to either the state government or the federal government to help us. Has anybody from your representatives ever brought that to you yet?
Yes.
You need that money?
Yes,
So
yes,
what are you trying to do to get that money to help us?
yeah. So, there's a few sort of ways we're working it. So as you know, about 5 years ago, we passed the first name. The way that money is coming down is that it went to the state, $44 million to the state of California for roads. Then they passed it down to the municipalities, and the municipalities are deciding how that money is spent. And then we have also what's called community project funding, which is usually more about $1 to $2 million when we get bigger funds. Sometimes we work with the senators, but we can't put in specifically, we have to get requests. So that request would have to come from the city as the people who obtain the money, and we have not yet gotten that. So we're working, and I know Bonnie has brought this to my attention, and she's here.
You haven't got a request from the city of San Diego for that money?
Not officially through the community project process. I don't know if
Well, that's going to change real quick.
there might be other processes that they've applied for grants at the federal level that I'm not aware of, but usually when grants are applied for, we then send a letter of support. I don't think we have any that are going in there, and then for the community project funding request, it comes directly to our office, and we have not received. And we just finished the process for this year, so it would have to be for the next fiscal year.
Well, if there's any way you can redirect those funds quickly so that we can get that road finished, we'll build a statue for you and put you in.
I don't know the statute, but I'm happy to try and help it, and Amani here, make sure we talk you through all the process. And if there's like a nonprofit that could make the request and send the city, that's something we can work with. Yes. Hi.
So, the impression I get is that Congress is almost dysfunctional.
Yeah. Feels that way.
Equally divided, House and Senate, can't get a budget passed. This also basically puts workers
So $35,000 she bought her home on Inslee Way over there. And we lived there, and she lived there. She just sold it maybe 6 years ago because it was too much for her to kind of keep up. But Mira Mesa has been home for me for a long time. And so having the opportunity to come back to Mira Mesa High School to serve this capacity has been truly amazing. And I tell people all the time it has been the honor of my life to be able to do that. This is my 11th year as the principal here at Mira Mesa High School. I love it so much. I moved my kids into the community here. Unfortunately, and again, Mark can probably attest to this also, when my wife and I went to look at buying a house, they're no longer $38,000 in Mira Mesa. So when we tried to go and do that, we found out that to be honest, even as a principal, my wife was working, we just couldn't afford to live in this community and to buy a home here, and so we had to move out to East County and commute in. So by doing that, when our kids became of age where they were going to school, we knew we wanted them in this community. I know how hard the other principals work in this community and how amazing the elementary schools are. So my two daughters attended Page Elementary. One of them is at Challenger right now, which is why my hair is feeling gray and all that. The middle school girls are rough. But you know, we're kind of going through that whole adventure together. And I hope they're coming through Mira Mesa High School. So my plan is to stick around for as long as the community wants me to stick around at Mira Mesa High School. I really want to retire from that position. The former principal asked me one time, he said, you know, what's your next step? What are you looking to do after Mira Mesa? I said, this is my next step. Like, I'm not looking to do anything else. Like, when I had the opportunity to come into that position, I was 34 years old. I thought there was absolutely no chance they were going to allow me to be the principal of the largest high school in San Diego Unified. Right? I threw my hat in the ring. I was like, I want them to know I really want it. I'm super fired up. This is what I want to do. But I did not expect that they were actually going to give me the position. When the superintendent called me to offer me the job, I think I said something crazy to him. My response was not wonderful. My wife was like, no. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, sir, but I just didn't expect this. And he started laughing, and he goes, well, you know, the job starts tomorrow, so get after it, Joe. I go, I got you. And then on my very first day of work, I forgot to call in the school police. And I'm in the office, setting up my office, and I got greeted by the local law enforcement here. They showed up because they thought I was breaking into my own office. So I go, no, the principal. I go, do me a favor, please don't call the superintendent. This is my first day, literally my first day. He goes, oh, I got you. You're good to go. But it's been amazing being in Mira Mesa. I also feel like I'm a project manager. Construction has been heavily underway at Mira Mesa for a long, long time, and I think that's what they really asked me to focus on today was what's happening at Mira Mesa with all of this construction. What have we done so far, and where are we moving in the future with construction? We have been under construction for the last 11 years, so as soon as I took over, we started with that stadium project and kind of renovating the stadium. My very first graduation that we had, unfortunately, we had some, you guys remember the wood bleachers that we had? A lot of flexion on the wood bleachers. There's somebody was walking down the staircase at graduation and fell. Compound fracture, bone exiting the body, the whole thing, horrible. So I had no idea. I'm sitting up on the stage, I'm not ready to listen to the valedictorians give speeches, and I see the ambulance coming down the thing, and I go, what is happening? And they're like, oh God, don't worry about it. I'm like, okay, and so the stadium got renovated at that time, and that was one of our first projects that we got done. Then we started to put in that multi-purpose field in between the baseball and softball fields over there. As we started building that project, they found evidence of possible mammoth bones of some sort, right? They found something in the soil, and they came to me and they told me about this whole thing, about we might have found a mammoth. I started laughing. I thought they were kidding, and they were like, no, we might actually have found a mammoth. And I go, well, that would be amazing. We could unearth this mammoth. And they're like, oh, no, that would mean that we would stop construction. You will not get your field. You will not be able to do anything with this section of the field. This would be a horrible thing for you. And I was like, oh, okay. Thankfully, it was not. That material was just something else. And so they were able to construct that multi-purpose field, which has been amazing for us. Right? We strengthened specifically for field hockey, lacrosse, and soccer. Because if you play any of those sports, if you play those sports on a football field traditionally, there's a lot of extra lines on a football field, right? And it starts to feel like it's not really your field, right? So we wanted to make sure that for our soccer teams, field hockey and lacrosse, we built a legitimate field for them that felt like their field. So even as a former football coach, I coached football at Lincoln for a while in my early career. We said no to the football coaches when we talked about striking that on the field to make sure that we were being kind of equitable with all sports in the way it was there. So the multi-purpose field went in next. Then we started taking a look at renovating some of our spaces. One of the spaces that we renovated was our culinary center.
So our culinary center started out as a very, very basic center, and through matching funds from the state of California, we were able to acquire $4 million and build this unbelievable culinary facility at Mira Mesa. I mean, it has just been absolutely top notch. Some of the equipment, I had no idea what this was. I was like, what is this? And they're like, oh, this is a tilt skillet. This is how you make commercial soups, you know, all these different things. We have ovens that cost more than our cars do. Absolutely crazy. I know the cooking process that injects steam into the oven to keep chicken moist and all these things. Right? They were talking about, like, if you ran a catering business, you know, how do you cook 250 steaks to medium rare all at the same time? That doesn't sound possible. You do it in a combi oven, right? It's really fancy oven. So our kids that are going through these culinary programs or all these different programs are getting to be really hands-on with the actual equipment that they're going to use in the field someday, and start getting an idea about whether or not this career is really for them. I'm going to stay on the chef thing for a minute, because so many kids see like Hell's Kitchen and Top Chef and all these shows on TV, and they go, man, I really want to be a chef. That's what I want to do. And when we sit down and have conversations with kids and say, well, what kind of lifestyle do you want? And so, well, it's also really important for me to have a family, and I want to have time with my family and be with my family. You know, we kind of tell them that those two things might not match, right? Because if you're a really good chef, you're working every Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. You're working all the holidays, right? If you're not as good of a chef, you might work the Tuesday night shift, but the premier chefs are working those nights when everybody else is out, right? So if your goal is to really have that family experience, that career might not align for you. And so our goal at Mira Mesa is to help kids identify those kinds of things, those career opportunities through the experiences that we have at Mira Mesa before they go to culinary school and dump a bunch of money into a career that they decide they don't want to do. Right? I always use my friend as an example. He's an amazing human being. He was a sergeant here at Northeastern for a long time. But he went to law school, became a lawyer, and never practiced law. Right? He had this law and order version of what law school was going to be. So he went off and became a lawyer, but didn't actually end up practicing, joined the force, joined STPD. It's helpful for him, right, to be a lawyer, know the laws, all those kinds of things. But the $200,000 in debt for law school was not helpful for him, right? So for our kids, we're really trying to educate them now about these different career paths and see what's out there and what's available for them before they just jump in and incur a bunch of debt. So that's kind of a big shift. I'll continue talking about that in a second, but back to the construction projects. So we renovated all of the facilities in the 200 building. That's our science classrooms. So basic facelift there, new carpet paint, different supplies, things like that. Kind of a new fresh look in there. The media center is totally gutted now. Like it's a very different place. If you haven't been there in a while, a lot of people walk in and go, oh, this is kind of crazy. You know, very open concept. A lot of our stuff is digital now. So it's very bizarre to walk into a library and not see a bunch of books. Right? Because our kids are using a lot of different media now and things like that. And so now we have what we call the Innovation Lab, which is like a large computer lab space without computers, because all of our kids are given laptops when they show up in ninth grade. So we don't need dedicated computers any longer for the kids. So the media center was completely redone, and then we started getting into our big phase projects. And then we started looking at, building that 900 building that you guys saw just opened up in January. That thing has been fun for me, but exhausting for me at the same time. That has been 5 years in the works. All of the planning that goes into that, weekly meetings with them. I try to never miss any construction meetings. I feel it's really important because as the end users, our kids are going to be using these facilities, and if we're not there and involved in the conversations, it makes it real hard later for me to go, oh, you should have done this. You should have done this. They're saying, well, where are you with the conversation? So we try to show up for all those things.
No, you're good.
But that 900 building that just opened is absolutely phenomenal. We could throw it out there if we ever want to do one of these meetings over there. We can do the school's night over at the school. I'd be happy to host next year if you guys are interested. We do a little tour of the new building. It is one of the most phenomenal spaces. And if you were there for the ribbon cutting ceremony, the thing that warmed my heart the most is when one of our students got to cut the ribbon and unveil the new building. The rest of the kids were kind of standing there like real loud, and I was like, you can go ahead and check it out. And they busted out their phones, and they were all doing the Instagram live and all that stuff, going through the building, and over again, we hear kids said, man, this feels like a college. This feels like a college, over and over. And that was just so nice to hear that after all that work and all the effort that went into that building, that they're truly respecting the facility. I gotta tell you this one story, I probably shouldn't tell you we had kids tagging, right? But we had a kid that was in, like, right on the bathroom wall. It was the first week that the building was open, and it was a female student. She's in the girls' bathroom, and she's about to start writing on the wall. And this other kid goes up to her and goes, "Hey," and just starts chewing her out. She was like, "You wouldn't do that in your house? We finally get a nice new building, and you're going to destroy the building." You know, she starts like really going after her for about to write on the wall. The other girl who was going to tag the bathroom wall goes, "I'm going to go tell the administration, you can't yell at me like that," and she knows Spartan's out. So the girl who was standing up for our property comes downstairs and goes, "Am I going to get in trouble? Because I went pretty hard. I yelled at her, and I was really mad. She was going to write on the wall." It's like, "I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to get you a medal or a trophy or something." Like, this is amazing. So I just want to let you know, like, the kids are being really respectful with the space, and they're taking care of the space, and we try to be very thoughtful. We even built some collaboration rooms in between classrooms, and again, if you're able to tour the building, you'll be able to see this, where if I'm in an English classroom and I have a co-teacher in the classroom, the co-teacher is pulling a small group of kids up that need some additional one-on-one instruction or small group instruction, we have spaces for them to go and use that are like absolutely top-notch and right next to the classroom. It doesn't feel less than, it doesn't feel different. Like, it really is such an amazing space for us to be able to just jump into. So that's the 900 building. That is complete right now. We are still under construction though, because what was the main office is the 100 building. That's going to turn into the World Language Building. So we had a dream 10 years ago when we started this planning. And the dream was to make this place look and feel like a college. We wanted to set it up to where all the science classrooms are in the science building. The arts classrooms are in the arts building. And we built a math complex. And so we've been able to do that over the last 10 years. And it's been absolutely amazing. So now the 100 building will be your World Language Building. The 200 building will be our sciences. The 300 building is our media center. The 400 building is all of our arts and CTE classes. The 500 is the gym. The top floor of the 600 is what gets a little confusing. Stick with me. Top floor of the 600 and the top floor of the 900, the new building, will be joined by a bridge that connects the two buildings together. This is helpful for a variety of reasons. Number one, the 600 is the only two-story building we have. When our elevators go down, as they do, because they were built a while back, we have no way of getting students that are in wheelchairs and need extra assistance up the stairs. And so when situations like that happen, if it's a long-term fix, we kind of move students' schedules. And that's hugely impactful. We have great kids at Mira Mesa. One time we caught a bunch of kids carrying a student in a wheelchair up the stairs. And I was like, no. As sweet as all that is, if that goes wrong, that goes really wrong, right? So we can't have students doing that kind of stuff. But now that we have two buildings in a connecting bridge, we have redundancy in our systems. So now if an elevator goes down, we can always use the 900 building. We're not having to do things back and forth. So it was really important for us to try to connect those two buildings together to kind of build that consistency and allow students to be able to access classrooms at all times.
Are those the buildings that are graded road?
Yes. Yeah, our broader way.
Real columns.
Yeah, real columns, yeah. So you kind of see a little bit of the connector bridge. Once all the blue fencing is down, once the buildings are painted, it'll make a lot more sense there. So we did the upper floor of the 600 into the 900 building is all the humanities classes. Downstairs in the 600 building is all of our college classes. And in Mira Mesa, currently this year, we offer 26 college classes at Mira Mesa High School. We're tied right now with our friends across the freeway to Coach Ranch at 26. So we want to add a few more classes and provide a few more opportunities for kids to be able to explore different things at the college level. The beauty of the college level classes is that we have kids that can start taking those classes as juniors. And so we have students that graduate from Mira Mesa that start college almost as juniors in college because they've accrued so many credits because of what they were able to take while in high school. So we're really supportive of that. I had a parent that came up to me and said, "You saved me $40,000 twice." I was like, "What do you mean?" Because my son got into Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and we didn't have to pay that tuition for 2 years because of the credits he was able to take over there. And those credits, when taken through Miramar, are guaranteed convertibility credits. So those are really valuable. Some of the AP classes, sometimes the colleges will accept it, sometimes they won't. Right? But those college level classes that we offer while in high school, they all accept those right away. So that's the 900 building. That'll close us out for phase 2. We're in phase 2 of 4 phases of construction. Can't forget the 800. So we will be, the 800 building. You can't forget that. That's our music building, if you don't know, our band facility and orchestra facility. It is just a thing of beauty. It has been absolutely amazing. And those programs are huge in Mira Mesa. Right? I have to remind my wife all the time when my daughter was learning to play the recorder. that that's not noise, that that's music, we just can't hear it yet, you know? And someday it'll be music when they're at Mira Mesa High School, but right now it sounds rough in the car because we're going to school. But that facility has also just been an example of providing students what they deserve, right? Like these are facilities that our students are proud of, and facilities that our kids have earned over the years. So that band program has gone to the Rose Parade twice. You know, in the school history, they've gone to the City Olympics. I told them I'm absolutely down for the LA Olympics if we get a shot at that. But these are amazing opportunities for kids to go and perform. 2 years ago, they got offered to go to the Vatican and play. We just honestly couldn't afford the fundraising. But it has been pretty phenomenal to see what our students are doing through music, and that is because of elementary schools, because of the middle schools, and when they get to high school, being able to continue that at a high level. Jean Christensen was a huge reason why that program was so wildly successful. I mean, she was just a top-notch educator. She was recognized as one of the top 50 music educators in the country a few years ago. She is absolutely phenomenal. She was the first female band director to ever lead a band in the Rose Parade, and she did it twice. And when you look at how many years the Rose Parade has been going, to think that there's never once been a female conductor is pretty crazy, right? And she was able to break that single twice. So that's pretty amazing, all the things that she's done. She went out when she retired. We were on our Hawaii trip, and she told me she was retiring. I told her no, but she has to stick around until I'm done. That's a quick 16 years to go. She said there's no chance that she's sticking around 16 years. So she did retire last year, but found us an amazing instructor to take over in the music program. And so Brandon Lockheed's been trying to do that thing, and it's been phenomenal. So construction on the 100 building, that's going to be the world language building. The 600 building that we talked about is just going to continue to serve its same purpose as it is. And then all of our academic facilities will be done at that point. So then the next phase, phase 3, is a standalone project, and that is that giant performing arts center on the corner, right? That is going to be a massive, massive undertaking. The last number I heard, I was told to not throw out any numbers, so please don't quote me on these things, but this is a ballpark, was around $135 million was the ballpark budget for what it's going to cost to build that performing arts center on the corner. That is a massive investment, not only in the arts program at Mira Mesa, but I feel like in our community, because our hope is that that facility then is available for different groups to come in and use the facilities, just like we do now through Facilitron. There is a different process for that if you're a nonprofit group than if you're a for-profit group. So if you're a for-profit theater company and you're going out and trying to make money, the rental on that building is going to be very high, right? Because it is and it kind of should be. If you're a nonprofit organization that's looking to use the facility, then the costs are very low. The costs are really, how do we have to staff it in terms of custodial and things like that, and a lot of costs. But that's really reserved for the nonprofit organizations versus for-profit. So when that theater first popped up as the possibility that we were going to get that done, they said, how many seats do you need? I said, 750 seats. And they're like, 750 seats? The largest theater that we have in San Diego Unified is 450 seats. We can't build 750 seats. If we're doing 750 seats, we got to build a mezzanine. Right? I like a mezzanine. Let's build a mezzanine. Let's put that in there. There's absolutely no way we're able to do that. So they came back and they settled on the number 650. So that theater will hold 650 students or folks in their base or however we want to set that up. It really is going to be amazing. Some of the preliminary conversations that we talked about was an outdoor performance space as well that faces the hills. So what we would be able to do is to close down the driveway into the north parking lot off of Broadway and be able to have outdoor concerts, right? Where student groups are coming and performing, and folks are bringing blankets and just kind of sitting on the hills and enjoying some music. And we really wanted to try to keep that outdoor space alive. A lot of thought went into how do we continue with the trees and things like that. As you know, the new 900 building, we had to remove trees to put that building in. One of our former teachers just retired last year, did a lot of legwork on this and found out that if we kept the center sections of those trees and we trucked it out to his friend that has a mill out in Ramona, that they would mill it into wood for us to use for different projects. And so we were able to send the center sections of those trees out to the mill. They milled them, they cured the wood, and we've been building things out of the trees that are in that from the ground there for the kids just kind of as a surprise. I don't know if you've ever seen those Adirondack chairs Yeah, like you see us, you guys can be from Little Italy, there's a big one in Little Italy, but they're massive, they're like 12 feet tall. And so I went to Mike and go, I'm gonna build one of those giant chairs. And I want to put it right in the middle of the quad with all of our big pine trees as the background, so that the families are coming to take pictures, our kids are taking pictures, that they have those iconic trees in the background. And so he actually crafted this giant chair. We told nobody, right? We built it on the weekend. The kids came back on a Monday and were just like, what is that? Are we allowed to sit in it? I'm like, yeah, you can sit in it. You know, they're so respectful. They didn't want to climb on it without permission. But it's been really fun. Taking pictures, we put a little plaque on there that just said, you know, this chair was made from the trees planted in 1974 in the east of the campus. So we are trying to repurpose those things. Every tree they take out, I think they plant 15 back in their place. So we have trees all over the campus now. It is going to be beautiful landscape. It's always an issue for us. It is always a fight for us in the district. And so we'll continue to fight that fight and make sure that things look the way they're supposed to look. I know, I feel like when we left for COVID, all of a sudden something changed with landscaping. And weeds were 6 feet high and all kinds of craziness. I came back this year with my vice principal 2 days before we were supposed to open our doors. They had promised me they were going to come back and they were going to mow, they were going to take care of these weeds that were literally taller than me. And when we came back to the campus, none of that was done. And it was a Saturday evening, we were opening on Monday. So I called my vice principal, I said, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? I was like, you're going to have to join me, but I can't open school like this. It's super embarrassing. I'm going to grab my mower from home. I'm going to go rent a giant industrial weed whacker from Home Depot, and I'm going to get after it. And he goes, I'll see you there at 6 in the morning. So he and I together went and knocked down all the weeds and pushed the mowers over the hills and tried to do our best. We're not great. It wasn't great, I have to be honest with you, but we tried our best. We took all that kind of stuff out, knocked all that down. For our efforts, we did get grief because we took other workers' jobs away by doing this work. I'll be honest, I don't care. I'll take the grievance on it. You know, I don't want our kids coming back, and because it sends a message to them that we don't care about our school, we don't care about how things are. So we will continue to fight that fight. But the big news is going to be that Performing Arts Center. I would say right now, it's going to be a long time.
Where's that going to be again?
So do you know where the Christmas tree lot is right there?
Yeah.
That's where it's going to be. So unfortunately, the Christmas tree lot's going to go away. I'm really sorry. I worked at that, when I was 15, I worked there at that Christmas tree lot. It's the best job I ever had. The guy hired me and said, I'm not going to pay you, you only work for tips. I go, okay, I can do that. And so everything came through, I had a whole spiel. I'm like, I'm Joe Sabins. They don't pay me here, I only work for tips. I'll do whatever you do. I'll tell you a tree out of your car, I'll do all these things. And I made more money in those 4 weeks selling Christmas trees than I had doing anything else I ever had as a kid. It's pretty amazing. So, again, I do feel bad that some of those opportunities are going to go away. But what we're getting in return, the opportunity cost for that is just absolutely huge. So when they're done building the Performing Arts Center, and I'm going to tell you right now, when we're done with this phase, we go into the planning phase for the Performing Arts Center. It's probably a full 2 years of design and planning before they're going to do the break ground on it. You know, and then that construction project will take 3 years start to finish. They said it will be the largest, most complicated building on your campus. It sits almost 5 stories tall. It's like 60-something feet tall. It's huge. You know, and they have to build it, they said, from the top down, which I didn't understand. But they said you build a frame, and then you have to get up and build all the catwalks and everything, the rafters. As you go down, they're like, you can't put seats in it, and then put ladders up and you build, you know, like we have to build it from the top down. It's very complex. So we expect 5 years.
How do you accommodate the vehicles in the parking space?
So I mean,
With 650 seats.
so again, we're hoping that when we're renting out the facility and things like that, that'll be on the weekend typically and things like that. So we're gonna have to just use the parking lots that we have. There is no plan for us to build superstructures or anything like that for parking structures. You know, like for Mira Mesa High School purposes, I want that theater so that when we're talking with our students, I can bring in a full class of kids. Sometimes our freshman class is 675 kids. We can get almost everybody in there at once. And it sets a different tone. When we're in a professional setting like that, we're having those conversations with kids, as opposed to all pouring into the gym at the same time and everybody's distracted, and it's not that same focus. We also can't do plays and things like that we want to host for our kids because our capacity on our theater right now is about 220. So we really want to build it up. I mean, really the primary is for the school, and then the secondary is that it will be open and optional for the public.
You're already not very safe for kids teaching them how to drive. But what if you guys actually had
they used to have that. I think a lot of it is around insurances needed for that, and that's really problematic sometimes for them. I think that's why those went away, because they used to have those back in the day. Yeah. Okay, so and then the very last thing, I know, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I thought I was not going to be over. I'm still over. The very last thing that we're doing, phase 4, is a second gym that's going to go on the blacktop area where the current blacktop is. They're going to build a practice gym over there for us to be able to use it. And I'll give you reasons why. In basketball season, we have 5 teams that are competing for practice. Now that we have a late start, school doesn't get out till 3:30. So school gets out at 3:30. Imagine trying to do the planning for getting 5 basketball teams in and out of that gym in one afternoon or one evening. Right? It's very limited on time. Our parents have been very flexible, but it's rough when your kids' practice ends at 9:15, and they're expected to then go home and be ready for school the next day. Even with a rotation schedule, it's really, really difficult to do that. So the district looked at that and said every school that doesn't have a second gym needs a second gym. So they're going to build a second gym and a wrestling facility included with that second gym in this next phase, in phase 4. I'll be honest with you, phase 4, I mean, we're talking 5 years after completion of this project, which this one, we are about 18 months away from completion in this phase. Then we have 5 years for phase 3, and then we're heading into phase 4 to build a gym. So when kids come up to me and go, and when's the second gym going to be built? Like, do you have any young cousins? You know, might be around when they come around. My daughter's in 3rd grade at age, and I don't know if it'll be done by the time she's coming through Mira Mesa, just being really honest with you. I think phase 4 is going to be pretty far out, and that's when they're doing the rest of the athletic facilities. And then they were very clear about this. They said, when we're done with phase 4, we are never coming back. They have dedicated so much money to Mira Mesa High School and the renovations of Mira Mesa High School. I don't talk to any other principals about it. I keep my mouth shut, and just when they complain about how nobody's investing in their schools, I go, okay. They love us for whatever reason. We love working with them with construction. I think we have a really good working relationship, and so they like doing projects at Mira Mesa. But they have dedicated, I think the grand total was like $244 million into these projects at Mira Mesa, and when the bond measure was only $1.5 billion, $244 million, when you're talking about 250 schools in the district, is the lion's share of the money that was passed. So they are really heavily investing in Mira Mesa High School. They believe in what we're doing, and we're proving it over and over again that our kids are so successful. This year, Mira Mesa High School was named one of the 2026 California Distinguished Schools. That's a very rare feat. It was us, Mission Bay, and I don't want to cheapen the moment, but Scripps Ranch also won. So it was our 3 high schools, but it was just the 3 of us that won. Challenger also won for a middle school. And so 2 Mira Mesa schools won. It's an amazing award for us. We were super excited about winning that. And again, it's just recognition about how hard our students are working, right? You know, we hear it all the time about, you know, oh, those kids when we're battling back and forth with their neighbors across the 15 there. But I would take our kids all day long. Our kids are absolutely amazing, and they're working really hard, and they're finally getting that recognition. So very happy.
Are they Mira amazing?
They are Mira amazing.
So, Jeff, I wanted you to mention the Taste of Mira Mesa on Saturday.
Yes. Because I promised Christina would do that. Taste of Mira Mesa is coming out not this weekend, next weekend. We're doing a chili cook-off. We do all kinds of fun stuff. We got a bunch of raffles going on. A bunch of different businesses in Mira Mesa show up and hand out free food. So Taste of Mira Mesa, if you go to Mira Mesa High School Foundation, if you just Google Mira Mesa High School Foundation, you'll see their webpage pop up, and you can click there. If you can't make it, just want to make a donation, you're able to do that. If you do want to make it, it's at Veloci. I always say it's wrong. Is it Veloci? Yeah. Veloci. Always say Voters. It's a beautiful place though, where a lot of people that have way more money than me keep their Lamborghinis and Ferraris and fancy cars, and you just like walking through and see all this stuff. Alcohol is served there as well. All that kind of stuff. Yes, sir.
Sorry for this curveball that I let go. I wanted to ask if you were aware of the feedback process that you use for input into the tech center. When I was at the first meetings that we were trying neighbors to, at the highest level of concerns was that maybe that the project was meant to serve hadn't necessarily been asked for their input, or if, say, the teachers had been required of that.
No, I mean, it was something that was sent out to all students.
Can you describe the process?
Yeah, it was just an online Google survey where the kids could talk about what interests they had and what they wanted to see in the teen center. For us at Mira Mesa, one of our big concerns is we didn't want to duplicate services. So what we didn't want is all of a sudden we're opening up a culinary center across the street, but we have a giant culinary program in Mira Mesa, because the same kids that are going to be interested in taking it at Mira Mesa are already taking it there, they're not going to use it across the street. So I wanted to have something that complemented programs. That was the feedback that I provided, is please don't build the same thing that we offer here, because then you won't have kids use it, and then the system is going to break down.
Is there any way at all that I could review the form?
You need to contact them.
Yeah, absolutely. I can give you my contact info.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, thank you. And what they do again?
Yeah, last thing, real quick, just want to pitch. Next year's our 50th, right? Next year's the 50th anniversary. We're trying to plan all sorts of really cool stuff. I have this idea and vision for this Saturday kind of open house where we have like the band out there doing their thing, and we got the cheer team going, and we got basketball games going, and you can walk through all the CTE facilities. Like our auto shop right now has 14 lifts. Right, the kids this summer are going to be building an electric car from the ground up. Like literally every single piece that goes together on the thing. I mean, we have so many amazing, cool opportunities. We have biomed classes that are just exploding right now. Our trainer, who has a doctorate in physical therapy, said, hey, I'm interested in teaching these classes. We started the line. We have over 500 kids interested in that field, jumping into that. We have graphics programs, we have engineering programs. But to be able to open the facilities up for you all to be able to tour and see and touch and feel things and just go walk around and experience Mira Mesa High a little bit would be amazing. The only reason I thought is we had parents that showed up to our coffee and tea thing that we do all the time. And I said, hey, have you guys even seen these things? And they were like, no. And they come all the time and go, well, let's go check out a tour, take a tour. And they just love the tour. And so I thought, how do we open that up to everybody else?
Some of us from 76 are curious about the time capsule that we had buried during its original construction.
Where did you bury it?
That's
We're trying to figure it out.
We're hoping that Kanzler or Johnson or Glasses or somebody has that information down.
So Glasses didn't, but I can still try to contact Glasses.
Yeah, it's come up in our alumni, and we were where the baseball fields are now, was where we went in 7th grade.
Yeah.
Everybody else went to Purdy, Madison, and all that.
Well,
We were the first class to go all the way through it.
yeah.
And it's come up again, you know,
Yeah.
we want to know.
I have no idea where it is. I do have the
It's probably nothing that's important. I am
Okay, and you are
Sean Kelly.
Sean Kelly. Okay, Sean, because I'm Pam Stevens.
We've met Pam.
We've met
Oh, yeah.
chatted before, but for anybody else who doesn't know me, I literally wrote the book about Mira Mesa, and I'm interested in gathering those tidbits.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I've got a story about
Thank you so much.
I've got a story about Norway Brown also, who owned all this land.
Yes,
back
okay,
here.
perfect.
We'll talk then. If we keep going, we'll get into this.
But you have to say right here, because I have something for you from Mira Mesa High School. Put on my hat as a space of fireworks fundraising team and also promotional team. The t-shirt design contest for school kids is coming back, and this is to be distributed at the high school. And this whole packet explains it, and Michael Spencer will say a few words more about this. This is for you to get back to school. Thank you.
All right, good. Michael Spencer, come on up. What a great way to apply for that. And I think one, everybody can say all their questions to here.
we've opened it up from everything from UTK all the way through high school. We might have multiple winners based on what we see, but that's going to be the joy of the next meeting that we have for the fundraising team is finding out who's going to win. So if you have grandkids, you have children, if you have no children, if you've never seen a child, there is a QR code you can always scan, or you can go to the website, fireworks.org, and it'll be the first of the sliders that goes around, so you can find the form to download. Also, the schools have been given about 200 entry forms themselves, so tell the little ones to ask the teachers, hey, here are the teachers, I want to win. So that's really exciting for us. Another reminder, fireworks on July 3rd, 9 o'clock. You all heard the Congresswoman saying, sign me up, right? I think she said, well, to donate. Is that what she said? We're going for a food and a fire. Another great thing that I want to bring up is the casserole carrier is still up for grabs. We decided that we're just going to have the final raffle, the final opportunity drawing will occur on July 3rd at the event. Winner will be selected there. Please enter, and you'll win this incredible design. Yes.
So let people know too that the winning designs will be available for sale online. So people can go and you can.
Thank you. I messed up on that. There's a website that we have available. You can actually purchase the 2020 design, which if you're not familiar with it, it is the art that was created by John Jacob from H Elementary in 2020. Unfortunately, that was the last of the years because of miscellaneous things that kept us from having the ability to do. But like I said, like Karen said, you can go to the website and purchase items. That's where the winning design will be as well. So, yes.
That's right. That's right. We used to display this over one of Jennifer Connor's own casseroles, but it now has an actual takeaway Tupperware that comes with this.
So it just increases value right there immediately useful the moment you get it.
Is the casserole included?
Thank you, everyone. Like I said, please let everyone you know about the design contest. It really is the best meeting that we have, especially when we're almost done with funding the fireworks. So we can have a meeting where we just look at a bunch of really great artwork and make critical decisions.
One question.
Yes.
How much is left of funding?
I almost made a mistake. We actually just got $500 from Casa Review. It has put us to where we are within about $700 of having everything that we want to have done. That is beautiful. So thank you to everyone who's made donations. Anything that obviously we made over is carryover to help us for next year. And again, thank you to everybody.
And unfortunately, the prices go up every year. So whatever y'all can do, you got such a great job at the firework. Like without him, we wouldn't have fireworks. So thank you so much. Speaking about the fireworks, we're gonna pass it over to Jeff Steven to talk about the watch party.
Okay, so we are, Mira Mesa County Council is hosting the watch party. We should start at 4 o'clock and go up to the fireworks start at 9 o'clock. That will be an hour in that park. It's a large field right across Black Mountain Road. Should be a nice event. We had a lot of people there last year. I expect we'll have more this year. We've been working on lining up all of the things we need after that. The restrooms, trying to pick up permits and so on. So all of that is in progress. Jimmy has been working on getting vendors for the event. We are charging vendors this year, so that will raise some of the cost for this. So anyone who wants to do the event, or if you are a food truck or no food
flying on the website?
Yes.
Oh, shoot. So y'all can go to the website, download the flyer, and spread it all over social media, because this is going to be the 250th anniversary of the country. We got to make it hype. Y'all with me? You got to make it. There you go, right there, right there, right there. She got paper flyers too. That's what's up. All right. And then also the next day, we also have the July 4th parade. Is anybody here to talk about that? Andy Evans is there. Give a round of applause.
All right. Yeah, my name is Missy, and on behalf of Mira Mesa Community Champions, I'm chairing the steering committee for the parade. Today, we have Annie Mercado and Amanda. They're coordinating the participation and creating the parade. And we have Sean and Karen. They're going to be coordinating the staging area. Okay? And Peter Craig, where are you? So it will be all the community, right? The logistics and all this stuff. So anyway, so this is a recruitment for.
We're 3 months away. It's coming up fast. So, we're really excited about the 2-day celebration, the fireworks, and actually doing a car show also on the 3rd. I'm organizing a car show. It was a big success last year. We're going to do it again this year. And then fireworks. And then 4th is our parade. 6-year absence, we're bringing it back. We're going to be back stronger than ever. We are having a community dialogue next Monday night that starts at 6:30 at the Senior Center. I urge everyone to come out. This is the last public gathering where you guys put your input. The parade. We'll be talking about logistics, attendance. We'll be talking about we need volunteers. We need volunteers. We need participants for the parade. So you get on there, communitychampions.com website. You can apply there. We're at about 20 plus participants for the parade. We're topping it off around 30 to 40. So we're really excited about it. After the parade, we'll be gathering. The parade starts at 11, and we'll be gathering over at the Senior Center. We have a family potluck picnic, we'll have music, games, and family fun over at the Senior Center. So we invite you guys to come over after the parade. The parade is going to be on Weston Hill this year. It's not going to be on your Mason Boulevard. It's going to be on Weston Hill. So it's going to be more of an intimate, small town feel. We have those Chris Ranks and that all this year. So.
Now, like what we're basically doing.
So we're really excited about this year. So again, I urge everyone that wants to get involved or is interested in our 2-day celebration to come out on next Monday at the Senior Center, 6:30 p.m. and voice your opinion. This is your parade, it's our parade, so we want everyone to participate, give us their input, their ideas, so we can make this the best one yet. Okay?
Thank you. And make sure you check out not only the parade, the car show as well, because they got some amazing cars. Sorry, I'm on that. We want to call up Anna from Kennedy's office. Come on up, Anna. Round of applause. She's awesome.
council should be prioritizing for this fiscal year. Yeah.
There was some kind of survey online a little while ago.
And it still is.
Correct. Yes.
Still respond to that.
Yes. That survey is going straight to the mayor's office. Right now, we're working on their budget to be proposed. That input goes to their office. This will be for your council member to see how they can adjust the budget before passing it and make sure that what you want prioritized is keep listening to that feedback. Yeah. Is there another question? Okay. Perfect. So that's on the budget town hall. It's in the back again. And then moving over for environmental services department, I know I've mentioned it a couple times, there's a financial assistance program for the trash service fee. So if you want to apply, please remember that the deadline is this month on April 30th. There was a workshop in person last month, but if you have any questions, please let me know and I can connect you to the nonprofit that's helping folks apply to the program. And last but not least, there will be new recycling bins being rolled out. So I believe you're been not one of the first communities to get the gray bin, so it might be a while, but nonetheless, you'll get a notice to your house. And if you want to know what that'll be, you can also reach out to us and we can send you the link to the portal where you can check when we receive your bins.
All right. Is that it?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. If you got any questions, we got somebody from Trevor Law Solutions office. I didn't see anybody. All right, good. Anybody from Chris Ford's office? No? All right, good. And we're just going to go right into the planning committee. Judge Stevens.
Okay, things have been pretty quiet lately. We kind of had a lot on the agenda. We did have a presentation by the developer of Lazy Dog at the last meeting. They said that the reason for the slowness is that they were trying to build 5 restaurants at the same time. Otherwise, they couldn't do that, so they had to spread them out in time. He said about another 5 or 6 months, so we started construction of this one, and it'll take another 5 months or so to finish. He said they really do have to stick to that schedule, because if they don't, then their permits will expire, and that will cost them a lot of money, so. They apologize for the long delay, but that's the reason for it. Next meeting is here in 2 weeks.
All right, cool. Thank you, Jeff. Joe, my main man, Joe. Come on up from the Mira Mesa Community Recreational Group.
There's still time to fill out the mayor's survey. Please go on there and do it. Quick, everything that has to do with libraries and parks. Slam that thing so he doesn't take away our kids' livelihoods. After 5 years, we finally find out that the city has to go to the state to get the money to the federal our road. Obviously, our swimming pool is going along great. We're working with the high school to get the whole meeting set up. There's more money there. A lot of great children in this information. Everything else is just good. Things, as you mentioned, we wanted because they're coming out of this. And the only point of opposition to it is that we have to train. This is really critical this year, July 1st. You're going to cut your swim, so intention please.
Thank you, Joe. Take a round of applause. Yes, please pay attention to that survey. It is tricky, so be mindful of what you're putting. You can't just tap, tap, tap. Please be mindful. I did, and I realized, well, I can talk about that. It is all, Anna, do you have a link to the survey back there?
I have it on my email and I can forward it, yes. But I'm sure if you put, I looked it up today, if you put budget survey, San Diego mayor, it'll come up. But if that doesn't work, let me know and I can do it.
I have it on your
So,
tentatively scheduled for Thursday, April 23rd. So we're typically fourth Monday of each month. Open to Zoom at 7 o'clock. If anybody else would like to help set with that event, please let me know.
July 3rd and October 3rd event. Watch party and street fair if you please talk to Jeff if you want help. We need all the help we can get to make this a great and wonderful watch party and street fair. All right? Thank you. We're going to go to Kimmy for membership. Kimmy, what you got?
Hi.
Go ahead.
Yes, hi. So we're still offering membership, individual $20 and business $50. And we are extended for 2 more months. So if you sign up tonight, you get additional extra months for your membership. So come and see me. Thank you.
Thank you. Go up after July. So go see her now. When we do this now.
Yeah, I'm a member tonight.
You rolling out here. All right, Lori,
We're on open forum now, you're on it.
yeah, go ahead, Lori.
Hi, everybody.
Former city council member, by the way. Here we go.
District 6. I was a city council member for District 6 here, Mira Mesa, from 2010 to 2014. down, oh, it's a blue lip. And so they didn't have to have all these different colors, like light blue and gray and, you know, whatever. That's the most expensive way to go, number one. Number two is that they had actually 10 years to replace all the vents. They chose to replace them all at one time because this is a crazy reason to me. They had no idea how many households they were really picking up from. Does anyone wear a black bin? Okay, black, you know, no. And they didn't know who they were charging. So, so the way to get a count, an accurate count, is to change the bin color. And so after a certain date, when they see black, they're passing right by. They're like, you're not a paying customer. They're also putting a little radio frequency or RFID into the trash cans. And you would think, I thought that it was for like, oh, it's only up to here. Or it's just to like identify that that's your stuff. We just put a little paint on the outside. For goodness sake, like, why do we have a radio frequency inside of every trash can? So again, they had 10 years. They did not have to replace them all at once. They could have replaced them as they wore out up until 2035. By then, everything would be replaced. But that cost, and I never believe, I always say, if they tell me it's 65 million, I think it's probably 90 million, whatever. And so 65 million to replace all the bins, all at once, that they didn't have to do. And that obviously drove up the cost. Because they also when they did the first estimate during the ballot, what they told you is they estimated, I think it was 285,000 homes is what they thought. It turned out afterwards, it's really 230. Like 40-some thousand newer homes. So guess what? That's part of the reason it's so high. Is instead of all those homes, it's a lot less homes having to pay. There's so many things to me are messed up with it that I think they really need to go back and figure this stuff out.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, and our final speaker is our Vice President, Stephen.
Citizens Advisory. I represent that group. I actually represent Mira Mesa Community Planning Group on that committee. It's the committee that makes recommendations to the city and the county because it's city county preserve for wildlife and for recreation-based, nature-based recreation. There is an opportunity to experience the preserve at a special event this coming Saturday, and it's on the town council website and our newsletter. On the grounds of the ranch house, go down to the canyon, park near the ranch house, walk around and see tables about what's going on in the canyon. There are tables about different types of birds, animals, and the effect of light and light pollution at night on animals. It's not just something that is, it's something that can affect migrating birds. It's really affecting amateur astronomers who want to look at the night sky and experience it. And you'll have a chance to do all of that 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Before sunset, there will be hikes also, walking around guided hikes for seeing birds in the evening. There will be an exhibit by a group of birds and flying raptors. There's a lady who has some talks and other raptors, and there'll be a place where that happens. After sunset, 7:30-ish, go behind the ranch house. Astronomers from San Diego Astronomy Association and Mira Mesa Astronomy Group will have telescopes. Bring your own binoculars and just enjoy the evening together. Weather permitting. We did this last year. The clouds rolled in, and we thought, okay, the stargazing isn't going to happen. They rolled again, and all of a sudden, Jeff's telescope was mobbed by these long lines of people wanting to look through the telescope. I'm a binocular stargazer. I was helping other people see through the binoculars while they were waiting for the scopes. It was a lovely evening.
You can do them all. This is for you. Thank you. This is membership card. Oh, all right. They finally have found it. All right. Thank you. How are you? The membership card.
Cool, awesome. Let me give
How's your
you.
neighbor?
Still working on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let me give you this one back. Like, so you were here last month, like there's somebody else like like so then I just grabbed one, but it's actually
Oh, yeah. Yes, thank you so much.
No worries.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Of course.